Hello everyone and welcome back to Realtor Reacts to Reddit. Today we are going to be going through more Reddit posts from the Realtor subreddit and having conversations and me sharing my opinions with them. My name is Colin Boyer. I'm a realtor in Pennsylvania and Maryland, but if you're looking anywhere, we can help you. So don't forget to reach out no matter where you're looking. But let's jump into this video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And let's chat about some Reddit posts. So the first post is, our agent changed companies during our contract. That is not super common, but it does happen. So this actually happened to me. We ended up changing brokerages. We were with our former brokerage and changed to a new brokerage while our whole team had a bunch of contracts. And all that really changes, especially if it's an easy transition, which I would say 95% of them are, is you're going to be able to just sign an extra document and they're going to be able to either swap the transaction over to their new brokerage, or they're going to be able to still represent you with that broker and just kind of not swap everything over to the new company. So if this happens to you, most likely you're not going to have a huge issue, but it does pop up sometimes. I had a client that moved here from Ohio a couple months ago, and he said his agent changed brokerages 2 times, so they were with 3 different companies throughout the process of a 45-day closing. So if your agent's switching all the time, does it say anything about them? And our next post is question for realtors out there. I think this is from another realtor. How many of you guys have your clients sign an exclusive buyer's agency? If they don't want to sign, do you still work with them anyways? I've heard a few realtors say they don't ask anyone to sign anything. What's your preferred method of doing things? So I'm going to share my honest opinion and exactly what myself and my team are trained to do whenever we're working with clients. Is we have our clients sign an exclusive agency agreement because we want to make sure that our clients are committed to us just as much as we're committed to them. The last thing we want to do is somebody's out seeing houses with us, their aunt gets licensed or they're already licensed and their aunt just hates showing houses. We show them all the houses, their aunt writes the offer, and we are screwed out of all of our hard work and time that we put in. Now, a lot of agents are not asking their clients to sign exclusive agreements. There's a problem with that. Agents, you've got to protect yourselves and make sure that you're preserving your time for people that are committed to working with you. And what do I personally do if someone refuses to sign a buyer agency agreement with me to exclusively work with me? We're probably not a good fit. We will not end up working with them because then it means that they're not quite committed to working with us, and we don't want to put a ton of not only my time and effort, but my awesome admin staff's time and effort upstairs, because we're shooting this in a basement. We don't want to put all their time and effort into it without them being rewarded and us being able to help a family buy or sell a home. So sign those exclusive agreements with your clients. If you're scared to ask, practice it. You don't go to your doctor's office and just not do anything that they say or give them your insurance or anything like that. Commit to your profession and make sure you're working and signing exclusive agreements. This next post is loan officer calling a listing agent when an offer is submitted. I'm a home buyer in a competitive market. My loan officer has said that he likes to call the listing agent upon an offer being submitted to vouch for my financing and credentials. My realtor does not want him to do this, and I don't understand why. So we have our loan officer call the listing agent all the time because we want, one, to let them know that the loan officer is local. They're available to chat. If you have questions throughout the whole transaction, you're able to talk with them, and we want the loan officer to let the listing agent know that it's a solid borrower. We want the loan officer to vouch for us. We want them to give all the best stuff they can to the listing agent because it makes our offer way more competitive. As this person shared, they're in a competitive market. Almost everybody is right now. If you're competing and somebody has some random internet lender that they've never worked with, or a local lender that calls the listing agent, who do you think the listing agent's going to work with more if they are the exact same offer? A loan officer calling a listing agent is, I would say, a great thing to do, and we have it done all the time. The next one is the seller asking buyers to cover some of the FHA conditions. So basically what this is, the seller and the selling agent wants the buyers to put special conditions in the offer and additional terms that the buyer will cover up to X amount in FHA repairs. And it's been on the market for a while. They have done a price reduction and they have no other interested buyers at the moment. What should the buyer's agent do? So if this buyer's agent was on my team or I was working with this buyer, I would have the conversation with them. Like, hey, if you are truly committed to buying this house and it makes sense for you and your family, it may make sense for you to do some FHA repairs. Sometimes, and a lot of the time I see it honestly, it's because sellers are in a tough spot and maybe they don't quite have the money to do all of the repairs and they just need to get into their next house. Maybe they weren't even offering FHA as an option, but with no other interested buyers, an FHA buyer was able to scoop in and potentially get an offer accepted. If you were FHA, you might have to pay for some repairs. If there was no competition in the market, probably not, but that's not where we're at right now. And sometimes you're going to have to scrape some paint and repaint over it, or you're going to have to make sure there's a handrail somewhere so that you can get the financing and get the loan to close. Obviously, if the seller doesn't do it and they said they would, you get your deposit back. But are you going to lose a house over maybe a couple $100 because you don't want to do the FHA repairs? This genius trick will get people into your open house on a slow day. Nobody coming in to see your open house. All you have to do is go to the restroom, even better if you're having diarrhea. Someone is guaranteed to walk through the front door the minute you sit down on the toilet. Another pro tip, make sure you bring your own TP so you don't have to use the bushes in the backyard. So the first part of this is sadly true. I've been in a few open houses or rushing to open houses and been like 30 minutes early and have to use the bathroom. I've never went number 2 in any client's house just because I feel like that is just disrespectful and you shouldn't do that. Sometimes you do have to go pee though. I've shown up to open houses half hour early to put balloons on my signs and stuff like that, and I have to go to the bathroom so bad, and there is already people lined up and waiting in their cars to come into the open house. And if you, sometimes even in the middle of the open house or at the most inconvenient times, I want my open houses to be as busy as possible, but sometimes you got to go to the bathroom and they always show up at the time that you're looking to use the bathroom. So as a realtor, I can confirm this is true. All right, and we're still talking about open houses, except not with the bathroom now. It is, can I go to an open house without my realtor and without even reading the rest of the post or of the Reddit post, I guess Shane said. Yes, you can go to open houses without your realtor. As a realtor, I tell all of my clients, especially if they send me a house or just in our initial consultation, like, you can 100% go to open houses. Feel free to sign my name in so the seller's agent isn't just bugging the crap out of you, adding you to their database and calling you. Or open houses can get crowded sometimes, and sometimes you just want a private tour. Do not hesitate to reach out to your realtor if it's something that you just want to go through an open house. And be prepared to either sign yourself in or somebody in. Open houses are open houses, but it's still private property. You have got to sign in, or the agent can decline you from walking through. So just let them know, hey, this is my name, or hey, this is my agent's name, and all the details are on the sign-in sheet. All right, so this next post is something that I've sort of dealt with, but not exactly. So this is from a realtor that's saying, she wants to take the front door and the basement door. So he is a seller that has sentimental emotions to selling her house, and it looks like her grandfather was the one who left her the house, and he was the one who installed or basically put in the doors to the front door and the basement door, you can take whatever you want from a house, especially if it's sentimental. If you've got a family heirloom chandelier that you want to take with you, you 100% can if you put it in the contract. If it's not in the contract, it's staying. I'm sorry, unless you work out a deal with the buyer or your agent's able to work out a deal with the buyer's agent, it legally stays with the house, and that can kill a contract if that happens. Ryan Serhant's got a cool story about a blanket that almost cost him like a $50 million sale or something like that, and that is just a super unreasonable thing, but if you write it in the contract, you can take anything with. You can take the floor off the ground and put in new flooring if that's on the contract. If you really like the hardwood and feel like pulling it all out, you can take whatever you want. Just put it in writing. The next one is another one from a realtor that's titled, How Far is Too Far? So when working with buyers, how far is too far of a commute? I have buyers that are wanting to look at properties that are 2 hour and 3 hours away to maximize their budget. And what I typically do is I would say the furthest I've probably driven is an hour and a half. I'm not doing that all the time. If it's something that somebody's actively looking and they see one house that it's something that isn't quite in the area, but they can make do, maybe I'll go show it to them if they're not actively looking there. But if someone's looking an hour away, I'm going to refer them to a wonderful agent that can service them much better than I can, because if you are waiting for me or wanting to plan me going an hour or two, then we spend half hour, 45 minutes looking at the house and an hour back, I'm committing 2 hours and 45 minutes to the property, and I might not be able to do that all the time. So if I can get somebody that's local within half hour or less to take you to go see the home, that's what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that you're being serviced how you should be. On the seller side, I'll travel a good bit further. I'll go an hour and a half out pretty consistently if I have something out that way. And a lot of the times it's honestly an hour depending on where I'm going. And on the seller side, it makes it easier because we're not having to go see properties a couple times a week. All right, so this actually goes into one of the things we talked about earlier, is are realtors who switch brokerages often a red flag? Are realtors who switch brokerages often a red flag? I know a few agents who have been in as many as 3 or 4 different brokerages in the past 5 years. There was something wrong with each one according to them. So we see this all the time in the real estate industry. There are agents who switch brokerages a couple times a year, every couple years, and they're just not consistently with the same company. I've been with 2 brokerages. My team swapped from one brokerage to another just based on a culture fit and somewhere that we found that worked out better for us and made more sense for us as a team. One thing you see all the time, though, is everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side. It's not. The grass is greener where you water it and you have relationships with the brokers and the agents. If it's not a good fit for you, I completely understand. But a lot of agents jump back and forth from brokerages and companies and teams because they're looking for a higher split, or they're looking for something that they're getting recruited heavily by an agent. You see it all the time, and it drives me crazy whenever I see an agent who's swapping brokerages multiple times a year. If you're looking for a higher split, it might make sense for you if you're doing a ton of transactions and committing to an area. If you're a new agent, commit to a team or a brokerage that's going to train you, because 50% of 100 transactions a year is way better than 100% of 10 transactions a year. You're going to make way more money that way, and you're going to have a way bigger support system by doing that. Commission splits are not everything, so make sure you're somewhere that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Collin Boyer, and if we can help you guys buy anywhere in the world, don't forget to click the link down in my bio and we can reach out to you or get you connected with a great agent in your area. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.